Итак, всем привет, мы продолжаем играть в диско Elysium. Так, ага, точно. Ага.
I have really outdone myself.
Yes, that's what you need, Gaston. More padding on that fat ass of yours. I hope you're...
René, it's a little pleasures. Hello, officer. How might I be of assistance on this fine day? Oh, sweet Jenny. She was the finest woman in all of Revachol.
Do not defile her memory, Gaston. Let her rest in peace.
She died of pneumonia 2 winters ago. René and I were both by her bedside when she...
Я думал, тут написано у нее в постели.
Died. No use sugarcoating it. Won't bring her back.
Departed. Until the very end she couldn't decide between us. The most indecisive woman I...
A quick grimace of pain passes over René's features, but he immediately regains control. His face now a dispassionate mask again.
She could never make up her mind about anything. What to have for breakfast, favorite color, or which one of us to marry. She was always leaving one of us for the other, but never long enough to actually get married. Heck, technically, we're both still engaged.
You always confused her. Couldn't let us be happy. Seduced her with your fancy words and pastry.
He suddenly remembers you are still there. Full.
We knew her, all right. Lived on the same street our entire
Не знаю,
lives,
тут
just
возможны
2 houses
браки,
apart.
где не два
The 3 of
человека.
us have been best
Вот, а
friends
3.
since we were 4. She was René's first girl
Могли
back
так
when the
сделать.
prick was
Или
16.
не
They
ставить
were
брак.
courting till he decided he'd rather die for some great ideal than just be happy.
And then you stole her from me.
Oh, officer. It already got ugly nearly 80 years ago when the 3 of us...
You stole her from me.
Well, technically, you stole her from me, because we'd been pretty close ever since you two...
We were just boys then. This was different. No point starting this all over again. For the 1000th and the first time. Especially...
Of course, officer. Memories are all we have left. Let me think. I heard someone was hanged and left on a tree for a week. But that's all I know, really. No, officers, I'm sorry. And I really would
Кавычки.
like to assist.
Then help them, you wimp. You have plenty of shoulder with the ghost caviar in the Union. Someone must know something.
I wish I could, but I just don't know anything. I always keep my...
Respect?
I'm not...
Of course he's holding back. His mouth is so full of Union prick he can't even speak properly.
Can I at least
Закопал.
finish my fucking sentence before you piss on it? Is that okay, René? I'm not anyone important in the Union. Everyone in Martinez knows the Clare brothers.
Gymnasium. I love that.
What do you know about history? You never witnessed history. Only heard about it years later, when it had already moved on. You don't know history.
The old soldier mumbles something under his... There he stands, proud, rigid and alone.
Let's try not to get caught in a crossfire.
Oh, in many ways, yes. Like an honorary member. I attend meetings and parties. Help with little things. Evrard. Oh, yes. Not in the technical sense. I don't have a vote or a membership card. But Evrard...
Of course he's not a member. He's not a member of anything. I knew that. I hate this socialist rabble. But even siding with them is better than living your entire life on the fence, never committing to anything. Pick a damn.
Writing work mostly. Occasionally, he needs something written and Oh, nothing official, I assure you. Just essays for the newspapers. About Martinez and...
Well, he tells his little pen man exactly what to say. It's comic propaganda, plain and simple. You should be ashamed.
No, thank you. For being consummate professionals. You'll have this case wrapped up in no time.
Так, откусить-то я все-таки попрошу, но сохранюсь,
Officer,
чтобы надо.
I'm sorry, officer, but I really don't share food.
The only one you have.
Suddenly you realize how hungry you are. The last time aeons
Yeah.
ago. Probably when you were still a child.
Believe me, officer, I wish I could help you, but I need this sandwich to keep my blood...
You can barely hear him. The sweet smell of pickles in harmony with garlic butter and marinated onions emanating from the sandwich is driving your mind in a...
Fuck off! It's mine!
Ладно.
Sorry, officer. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it in a bad way. But the sandwich...
When the dissidents come to rape our country, he hides. But try to get a bite of his dear sandwich and he gets close. We are a special kind of vermin, Gaston.
3%. Слушай, это... Брат,
Officer,
дай
the
покушать.
mist...
A man so principled about his sandwich calls for a principled approach. Time to get political. This right here is political. Say one of these fascist or communist things or fuck off.
What the hell are you talking about?
No time to bring him in. Just keep your...
I don't think that's gonna happen. Why would you even...
He won't kill. As long as there's food in his fat belly, he'll get...
Good. Rene's on board too. Time to take back the streets. Right-wing populism. Here we come.
Но не удалось.
Now you are talking sense, son. All four of us working as a group.
I'm actually already a member in a group tasked to keep the streets safe. You are too. We call ourselves the police.
What do you mean, officer?
Agreed. What about the whole group? I propose a pair de la con.
I'm sure we can come up with something with a... Oh my god. Stop this scheming and just demand the sandwich.
It's dignified. We need dignity.
All right, all right. I have a bad feeling about this. Oh, you went through all that trouble for my sandwich. I'm flattered of it.
Ну, ясно, понятно. Ну, да не мешай мне говорить. с людьми.
Officer, the mist side of...
A man so...
Не, ну это явно надолго. Я просто хочу домогаться до его сэндвича, до пиццы. Угу. Ну-ка. Сейчас вот так вот попробуем. Да уйди ты, нахер.
Officer, the mist side...
A man so principled about
Не
his
помогло.
sandwich. Too late. Daddy's already fighting. Say one of these...
All right, let's hear them.
Стоп, у меня повышения навыков нет? Есть. А мне стоит прокачивать риторику вообще? Интересно. Блин, я даже не знаю, если честно так. Чтобы мне прокачать такого, а? Может, стойкость качнуть? Или это? Открыть что-нибудь, да? Надо бы. Ну ладно, пока что не будем вот это вот изучиться его. Ладно, перестану я добиваться твоего сэндвича пока что. Если что, вернусь к нему. Опа. А вот к этому я точно сейчас вернусь. А, я думал, это... Можно что-нибудь сделать с этим. Ну ладно. Понятно. Так. Пойдем в магазин сначала снова. А.
Yes? Hello? Me? No one.
She doesn't really want to be disturbed. If she's such a working class woman, why isn't she?
Not all the time. Right now I'm browsing books. Even a working class woman needs something to read. It is. I know you are. What with?
Help her by carrying things? Maybe she needs a weightlifter. Maybe she needs you to fight her husband. No. That's... Her hands move over the book covers. The tips of her fingers look rough, stained. An array of neurons fire up with joy. Bum her a cigarette.
No, I don't. Why do you think that I smoke? It's not like yours look much better.
She is right. Your hands look even worse than hers. These are the hands of someone who smoked for at least 20 years, as evidenced by...
I already told you, I don't have...
She's lying. She's goddamn lying. She has smokes.
From the kiosk? There's one near the harbor. It's a Sorry, officer.
She's lying. Lying, lying.
No, I'm not lying. Why should I lie? Please go to the
Не
fleet.
She
поделилась.
sighs.
Где коммунизм этот ваш, а?
My husband? No, he's not. I don't know. At home now? Out drinking with his...
Where is this going, officer?
Yes, but... I don't really need to know. No. Why are we still talking?
She has the husband is totally lost. You should tell her that
What? Who said anything about shame? Stop talking down to me. My husband is not missing. No, absolutely not. Are you a policeman or a nanny? They are not
you know where they are. They're at home, smoking. Given the...
What? That's just... My daughters are perfectly fine. They're almost grown up now anyway.
What is this doubt you have then? Something has happened here.
My youngest girl, Jolie, is just shy of 16. Jenny, she is turning 18. Why do you need to know this? Haven't I repeatedly told you that they're not missing?
Did someone say party? You could use a party. Hunt it down.
There is no investigation here. I can tell you that. I don't mean to disrespect, sir, but you are being...
For what it's worth, I agree. But cockatoos can't be stopped when they get like this. It's better to indulge him at this point.
I don't even have a cockatoo. And guess what? Even if I had, it wouldn't be missing. Great. Nothing. Go read up on them if you're so interested.
Maybe you should. What if the cockatoo is your astral captain? Or your heraldic bird?
Wonderful. The store is open.
The woman before you...
Ладно. Понятно. Ох. Так, не знаю, чё. Ну, наверное, ничего.
What have you found?
А,
And
книгу
also, a
про
book
будущее.
about cockatoos? There should be one upstairs.
Hi, Ace Detective.
Так, может, книгу купить? Ну, ща посмотрим.
The display rack is brimming. This is entirely, completely.
Так, вот это нам понравилось, вот эту нам
You have
предложили.
found the right
Да?
books.
Да. А, нет, вот это нам понравилось. Но.
It is a bestseller for a reason.
Так, ща посмотрим.
The edges of the pages are worn and smudged. A lot of people have read about the Devil Woman's altercation. The jacket copy proclaims, "Man from Heimdall returns in his most exciting adventure yet. After crashing into a strange jungle, he is ambushed by a tribe of female warriors and taken to the ancient citadel of Cloud City, where a mysterious and wicked queen rules." So you open the book to a random page. Man from Heimdall, wielding his two Zweihanders, is carving through a sea of savage. His arms, whirling like windmills, are soaked with the blood of... You flip to the copyright page. This book was written in 38. Berserker rage burns in his azure-hued eyes as he brings glory and honor to his long-lost Heimdall tribe. From the village of Heimdall, the ivory giant roars like man from Heimdall rides on a gilded griffin, his golden
Откуда он
mane
грифона
billowing in the
достал?
breeze. Both Zweihanders
Ладно.
sheathed on his back. He is off to war. The steel muscles of man from Heimdall gleam in the humid jungle air. Yet the man does not sweat. A passage reads, "The man from Heimdall looks up, his eyes blue as the mountain lakes of his homeland. He rarely speaks, but now his voice booms. Thine spells are no match for purity and strength of will. Brothers of Heimdall, stand above the vices of flesh, for it is weak and corruptible, yet mine is forged. I have grand plans for you, man from Heimdall." She gestures her diabolical hand toward an array of potions and unguents. "First, you shall please me. Then lead my armies against the vicious cannibals. Not a muscle moves in the face of the man from Heimdall. Yet inside, there is turmoil." In the final pages, man from Heimdall mounts Galavarin, his mighty griffin, and turns his gaze to the horizon. Queen Lydiana is dead, but an army of... To find out what happens next, you'll have to pick up Man from Heimdall and the Three-Eyed...
А книга ничего не дает? Просто почитать, да? Жаль. Ну-ка, так. Так. Оп. О, мысль какая-то.
Call
А,
the
это мысль
Mama
завершена.
Aqua.
Оп-оп, да.
It's not only your eardrums that register sound anymore. Your very skin has become an organ of hearing. Looking for a whisper light and low. A god who's very, very silent. Nothing escapes you. A cockroach in the other room. A candy wrapper falling on dry grass. A drunk falling from a chair.
Минус одна энциклопедия. Блин, ну, зато плюс 3 восприятия, конечно. Но минус одна энциклопедия на все время. Мне это не нравится. Мне с энциклопедией было прикольно ходить. Эх. Может поднять навык просто, чтобы так и было 4? Блин. Даже не знаю. Или разблокировать еще тут место. Даже не знаю. Ладно, давайте еще раз блокируем. Давай. Кстати, а зачем мне эта книга выходит? Мне зачем? Я деньги просто так потратил. Это просто так деньги тратить мне нельзя. А?
Hi, Ace Detective. Are you here for more books?
Внушение. А, я, кстати, заново, да, теперь? Но. Или все-таки это потратиться на навык? На навык, думаю, лучше потратиться пока что. На какое-нибудь это исследование потом. Давайте вот внушение, может. Хотя оно у меня так на единичке, а. Чё у меня внушение-то снижают тут, а? Где? А, вот. Я забыл, что я ее надел. Штаны у меня пока что только такие. Но книгу про какаду надо купить по квесту. А возможно, эту книгу про дьяволицу тоже по квесту, я не уверен. Потом, если что, купим. Ага.
Hi, Ace Detective. Are you here for more
68.
books?
Because you know
Okay.
each other. She's been talking to you so openly because you've talked before.
Yes, I used to stand out there all the time. Before you've been running around all week without your shirt on, sir, apologizing to everyone. I don't really understand what you've done wrong. Of course, you stopped by a few times. You certainly look better than the last time I saw you. Yeah, I can see.
Party eyes. Yes, of course. That makes sense.
You know, like a cat in the dark, all big and wide-eyed.
The swiveling eyes of a loony drug addict. That is what she meant. Fuck yeah. You should get some party eyes right now. Snap those sequins on you, boy. Oh, baby. That's not what you have to worry about. Worry about the
I didn't know I had to do that. I'm glad I could help you, sir.
Понятно. Все, больше не о чем
Hi,
говорить,
Ace
да?
Detective.
Ладно, пойдем эти биографии там посмотрим. Так, это сюда, да?
shelves full of biographies of famous people, whoever
Yes.
they are. Browsing suddenly, a pie speed next.
I'm sorry. I did not mean to rush you.
Где? Куда мне?
This
Где у вас
bookstore
книга
is
про
not
году? А, вот она, да?
A sulfur-crested cockatoo sits on the cover, its beak slightly open. It looks as if the bird is calling out the book title. From A to Zurich, a guide to a well-behaved. Turns out that there are so many different cockatoo species, and they all
It's a must-have if you own a cockatoo. I've heard they're quite capricious.
Ага. Ну, давайте
Oh, a
купим.
nature enthusiast. Good choice. I
Что там по заданию-то? Ага. Ладно.
A cockatoo is a parrot with an erectile crest, found on the Seminine Islands and in southern Fas a la Mer. Known for their this book talks about the delicate nature of twos, as well as introducing some of the most popular species among the bird enthusiasts. Where to even begin? All cockatoos are known for their needy natures, requiring attention for at least 2 full hours a day. They love to talk and have been described as Lovable pet owners also report moodiness, loudness, and hostility as recurring issues. If left unsatisfied, cockatoos may scream non-stop. Pluck their It is not recommended to get a cockatoo if you're not able to cook them food every day and give them the full care that they need. These birds will never understand. You're right. Cockatoos are magnificent creatures. They love to perform, cuddle and show off. Not great for the neighbors.
Понятно. Самым обычным.
Despite its banging name, the bang-bang cockatoo is actually the shyest of the species. Common in almost all Seminoles forests, as well as the bang is for all the scary things in the world. This is a yellow-tailed black cockatoo. Its specific name, Psittacus funereus, relates to its dark and somber plumage. This bird, perhaps the most impressive of all the species, the endangered major majestic cockatoo, is often, in the words of poet-explorer Sir James Fournier, few birds more enliven the monotonous hues of the verdant forest than this. Yes, but all those cockatoo species are so different. Which one are you?
Так. Надменный нрав, траурный, так сказать, это вот этот. Ну да, грусть, все такое.
You're right. You're Psittacus funereus embodied. This ominous bird belongs on your...
Ой, так, сохранимся. Хорошо, он от этого боевой дух не потерял. Готово. Поговорим о коду.
Excuse me? I don't know. The most talkative one? The what now? You truly are one strange cop, aren't you?
The
Понятно.
woman before you.
Так, ну побежали эту сторону исследовать. Ага. Опа.
Hey, up here, Piggo.
Военно-морское пальто.
The streets will flow red once more. A great torrent rushing down Rue de Esperance. You wait and see.
The streets will not flow red with anything.
I'm Cindy the fucking Skull. What else do you want to know? Date of birth, blood type, the last time I was tested for Hep C. And here I was trying to be polite. Just can't win with you pigs.
The lieutenant furrows his brow at another one of your eccentricisms. Hatred, disgust. It's difficult to tell the woman on the boat does not notice her staring.
That is on her. Someone's got to keep an eye on her.
Probably the Wild
Краска.
Pines rep. We should talk to her. She's a professional negotiator, though. I have the feeling she will be very cooperative while telling us nothing. You should take the lead. Ask her unexpected questions, you know? Do your thing. Don't be
Good idea, piggies. Run along now. Fuck her shit up good. Impound that boat while you're at it. I'd like to watch her swim back to us on. Can't you tell? I'm painting a beautiful mural. I haven't really started it yet. I'm waiting for the right words. This place is severely lacking in havoc. Not even... I thought I'd mix it up, you know. Summon the forces of crime. And so... Have you ever tried your hand at graffiti-o? When faced with a blank wall, we rarely see pigs round here, though. Just union cards. And my name's not Mona, so...
She wants it to be something true and total.
Yeah?
Let's be realistic. What are you going to do?
You heard your partner, pig.
I don't condone the idea of using physical force on her. She's a...
I ain't no snitch, pigstein. Go forth and forage in...
Actually, there is a shortage of people who talk to us in a normal, calm, informative manner.
We weren't put on this earth to make your life pleasant, fucko. What do I care about some fucking tin eggshells? Ugh, alright, sad piggy. I'll give you this one. If you haven't been there, the village is a shithole down the coast from the main plaza. Have a good time! No. That's all the snitching Cindy the Skull does for today. I have a weakness for animals. It's the animal...
Or a weakness for police officers, miss. Thank you either way.
Watch your back,
Понятно.
Hello
Так, ну-ка,
again,
подожди.
officers. Have you come to... Can't you... I haven't really started it yet. Yeah? Thanks. I'm sure the inspiration...
You've lessened her desire to deface the building.
Понятно. А, это. Тут я ничего не могу.
Just an ordinary wall.
Ну,
Nothing to see
3%
here.
могу. Творческие порывы Сидни заразительны. Понятно. Ага. Так, ну пойдем. Так, куда я попал? А возможно это вход в здание через другой вход. Давайте я лучше выйду через тот, где мне ключ остался, но сначала вот тут вот побегаем.
A striking woman leans against the cabin top of her sailing boat, smiling as you approach.
Good afternoon, officers. I'm Joyce L. Messier. I represent the board of Wild Pines, the owners of the harbour. You gentlemen must be from the RCM. I'm glad to see you here. I was dispatched to handle a strike, not a lynching. Anything I can do to assist the RCM in this...
That is good to hear, madame. My colleague will take the lead on this interview. I should let you know that he is recovering from a...
How interesting. I wish you a swift recovery. In the meanwhile, you have my full cooperation, and the full cooperation of the what we do. I'm afraid I don't speak for Wild Pines as a whole. The Pines' core competency is logistics. Container shipping, freight, that sort of thing. And that is the terminal. Another subdivision deals with energy, oil and gas exploration. Offshore... I'm not at liberty to discuss the company balance sheet, but I can tell you...
$1 billion?
It's a number, officer. It's made of 1,000 millions. A million is made of 1,000 thousands. And to think, There are years when the group books losses in the billions. Warpines employ 72,000 people, all of whom have families that depend on... They started as an exploration and cargo fleet conducting trade between the Samaran and Insulindian Aesolas. Centuries of care, deliberation and madness have gone into this endeavor. Vessels pass through the great unrest to re-emerge with apricots in tow. The logic of... You mean aside from being the terminal's legal owners, who are responsible for moving 8% of the world's cargo? We built this district, all the best parts of it. Rue de Saint-Ghislain, with its bastions, the plazas, Meteor, before Martinez was swallowed by the industrial harbour, even before it was part of Revachol, long before Terminal B was erected here, a company getaway, for a weekend or a summer holiday. Then came the revolution. But that's another matter. I'm here to make sure the Pines can...
With your help, hopefully, says her warm tone.
This reality. What? Such an acute encephalopathy just doesn't seem possible.
Don't be phased, madame. He functions perfectly well.
We may be here a while then.
All right, we're in. I know these all look good, but begin with the first, okay?
С первого. Где мы?
We're in Martinez, baby. A casual term of endearment popular among the 50-plus crowd. It's a disco holder. Martinez is a district of Revachol. A very small district. You would be excused for not knowing about it. Unimportant, they say. Forgotten even. Shelled to smithereens during the revolution. It has its charm. I'm not a good ambassador. I've only been here once before, as a teenager. As I told you, Martinez used to be a province, a workers' resort before the city swallowed it and the artillery did its part. Now the reeds are the reals. It's not really a sea, it's the Bay of Revachol. Yes, we're on an island in an ocean, the world's largest body of water, the Insulindic. Caillou. Imagine a pebble. A smoothed-over pebble amidst a great blue sea.
It is clear this pebble, and to humanity at large.
I would be happy to. What is a preposterously expensive education for, if not sharing?
Так, я там...
We're in Martinez is a dip. You would be excused for not
Вот это.
Revachol. Revachol, the great kind, history detective. They built this city to resolve history. Our part, the nations of the Occident, or migrant workers from Seminine and Ile Marat, depending on your creed. In the DeLorean century. 300. They say it's where the terrible questions of our time will be answered. By that I mean conflicts. We are standing on a fertile, self-sufficient island, able to sustain up to 200 million people. In the middle of the Insulindic Ocean, the world's connected tissue. It's where the money is. Oh, we're quite a way off. About...
A collection of tall ghosts behind the water vapor.
22 kilometers from the center of the world. That soldering iron is the bank
Че,
of the
мир
world
маленький
building.
такой?
The bottom
22
floors are
километра от
Insulindic.
центра мира так-то
Coalition
мало,
government
по идее,
is
не?
Indian Mission Command.
Silence. The water, the light. There is no recognition. Only the immensity of the sea and the cold radiating from it.
We are where we are. I have no truer answer to give, unfortunately.
This is one thought you...
Was there something else you wanted to know?
This has been informative. Thank you, ma'am. I'm sure my memory in... Might I suggest not asking them all right now? Monsieur will be...
Absolutely. My commitment here is long-term.
It's better not to eat all you can.
Indeed. I'm always at your
И
service.
все равно могу, да?
These are unimportant times, Detective. You and I were born after the dust had settled. 1,000th of a second too late. For the big time.
The smile of a predator. No doubt what she's got to...
The revolution. It's quite easy. Every 100 years or so, our species gets together to decide what's next, who gets shot in the head, and who gets the mineral rights. It's a real kerfuffle. Why, of course. We're talking Duke out century. No, I would say the apes were neutral. On the other hand,
The apes will never change. They are
Понятно.
all evil.
those would be the communists. Generally speaking, 40 million people got shot in the head. Oh, and the anarchists too. They shot them, did they ever? Before they got shot themselves, they shot 2 million people. Yes, the Red Deluge. Oh, lots of people. Even the king got shot in the head, or thrown beneath a horse, or drowned. Accounts the real king abdicated and lived out a long and productive life as a venture capitalist in Grad.
Не знаю даже, что ответить.
About head shooting, the liberals got the mineral rights. And by mineral rights, I mean everything. They didn't win so much as survive. We were the last ones
We. She's one of them. Of course.
to foreign intervention. The coalition. Those people really took the mineral rights. The liberals took everything that wasn't nailed to the ground. The coalition took the ground. The coalition of nations. Grad, Mesk, Vesper, Messina, Oranje, and Sur-la-Clay, the armed centre.
There is bitterness in her voice, tempered with understanding.
The moralists believe in keeping everything exactly the way it is. They believe in, at least not in the same manner and volume as the others do. They are the long-standing...
The rulers of Revachol.
This is their zone of control. They embolden the RCM with crumbs of the same law they took. Technically speaking, you are a moralist.
Моралист, ну...
A devout man of the center. Hard to come by. It's good to have someone who takes a moderate approach to hedge the turn of the century revolution. The revolution began in '02 on the Isla of Grad, though by the end nearly the whole world. It wasn't a who, but a what. A pandemic of Zarat, a particularly virulent prion disease, which the authorities in Grad proved unable to contain. It made people overthrow their governments. Of course not. It was a highly infectious microorganism that destroyed brain tissue. The actual causes of the... From Revachol and Grad? Not far. The world managed to cauterize itself. Mazov's government was over... Why? You and I, officer. Our lives in the zone, a city-state divided into free market zones under the everlasting interregnum. The zone of control is the third incarnation of Revachol, modernity. They developed the marvels of the inter-easlary communication, telematic milieus, radiation.
51 minus 8 equals 43.
Time flies. The 20s saw a decade of urban war, west of the river leveled, offshore platforms in flames. Still, it's regarded as an improvement on the 30s. Things settled down in the 30s. Revachol East transformed itself into the world's largest. No. It was a market mirage fueled by cocaine and quantitative easing. The 40s dispelled. Welcome to reality, baby.
For her to be where she is, Wild Pines Group must have picked the right side.
They picked the winning side. That's why they're here, and others are not. Perhaps it wouldn't have turned out that way had I been in charge. I might have bet on the king, and I would have sided with the cannons. If you'd seen the calibers of the thing, 10 of the 14 Indo tribes got it wrong. Feld, Kupri, Tricentennial. Good question.
Your jaw clenches. Give the lady a taste of your wisdom. A cold creeps up your spine.
So a quarter of humanity simply lost their minds. And how would you stop a prion? A complex folding
Не совсем, я думаю,
protein,
что они потеряли рассудок из-за
unlike
болезни, ну
with
ладно.
the technology 50 years ago.
The wind stops, and for a moment, a dog barks. A gunshot echoes off the walls of some.
There is peace in that.
Good hygiene. Really. A very moderate salute. When they failed to step up, Mazov and his
Opinions expressed here do not reflect the official.
And what is your official
My position, ma'am? My parents got ripped to shreds in the revolution. I would have gone the same way.
Understandable. They are what they are. Who knows? Anyway, and
Not so fast. Who is she in all this? Ask her who she is. She owes you an answer.
I am the vilest of the vile. I am an ultra.
It's sharp.
Ультра.
An ultra-liberal. It's a type of liberal. From the revolution. It's, not haven't you heard? I am a nether creature of the Forbidden Swamp. I can see you thought I'd gone extinct. No sane person identifies as an ultra-liberal anymore. Not in broad day.
In her green eyes, you see a mixture of truth and self-satire. Decades of guilt and pride.
A fitting punishment. To be forgotten, if not forgiven. Say, when the dust settled, the liberals were the only ones left to clean up the mess. By virtue of their survival, they were handed enormous power to shape the future. With due respect to our overlords, the eternal caretaker.
While a gentle wind sweeps the streets in the rebuilt east, light drizzle
I would not have relinquished sovereignty to the coalition. Not here in Martinez. Then for my daughters. We had an obligation to defend our sovereignty. We should have burned the whole Isla down rather than let them have it. Yes, I suppose I am.
Seditious talk, ma'am.
Perhaps. My...
You're no dummy yourself.
А зачем это говорить?
And the crown on your head as you lay in the casket.
Yes. Whatever else I am, I'm also a mother and a wife. Now, shall we return to reality? It's a neurological disorder caused by a lack of vitamin B in the brain. Symptoms include a retrograde amnesia.
She conveys it in short, cold bursts, trying not to invest too deeply in the condition of this dude in case he goes down later, souring the entire portfolio.
Написано же, возникает из недостатка витамина А. Ну давайте спросим еще раз.
It's either bariatric surgery or long-term out.
She nods. See, what this boils down to is this reality thing is stupid. Blow this joint. She stares at you, head tilted to the side, with a slightly concerned look on her face.
A bird? A Svenicid? A flightless bird of the polar region? Some sort of krill hunter? No, wait. You're an ancient ruin. A symbol of hubris. Of course you're not, my dear. I'm just terrible at guessing games. Ah! This is the pier of Rue des Saint-Jean-Ortu. A pre-revolutionary tenement. Old buildings are called tenements, you see. And new buildings, bâtiments. After laid back, this one used to be 8 to 10 stories tall. A real high-rise by the standards of the last century. Mostly the urban middle class, I believe. This was once primo real estate, before the cannons locked. Splat, splat.
You could be wrong, but from here it appears as if she...
Wonderful. The girl in the old lady rags. Looks like a sullen and rebellious member of a teen... Yes, you and I belong to the supraculture. We're common, the herd. The music on the radio. She prefers a fantasy world. An infraculture with its own dress code and vernacular. It is an illusion, I'm afraid. There is no refuge from the supraculture. I can't. That's how simple it is. One may dye their hair green and wear their grandma's coat all they want. Cattle has the ability to subsume all All right. What next?
Так,
The
теперь
girl in the old
по-другому.
lady rags.
Okay.
Ah, yes. There's something very satisfying about the girl in the old lady rag. Looks like a son. Yes. She prefers young people who dye their hair funny colors and wear old people's All right. What next?
Так, подожди-ка. Ну-ка, попробовать. Что-нибудь важное для тебя.
It remains a mystery what you mean by this something close. This isn't about you. It's about reality.
+2, блин, не хватило одного. Тогда было бы 50 на 50, так сказать.
Glad to have been of
А
assistance.
концептуализацию можно и
The
не
little that I
пробовать.
know. Anything else? That's the man who was killed. I'm afraid this is a discussion for once we've cleared the lynching question. Better not tie the forestay to the backstay on this.
She wants to answer the question. Protocol keeps her from it.
That's the man who was killed. Better not tie the forestay to the back.
She wants to answer the question.
Of course, detective.
Так, секунду. Сохранюсь, а то слишком много всего
You're
вышло.
back. Good. What can I help you with? Quite a few things, I'm afraid. The information I'm to share with you includes sensitive trade secrets. For the sake of my employer, I have to ask for your names and badge numbers.
Of course, ma'am. We should have introduced ourselves. I am Newton, and this is my colleague from Precinct 41, Detective Dubois. I'm afraid Harry doesn't...
Oh, and what happened to yours, Detective?
Awkwardness washes over the conversation. The woman doesn't like this turn of events.
How can I forget? I was hoping your condition was rhetorical, Detective. A questioning technique. I have sympathy for your highly unusual conditions, sir, and I believe you. But as it stands, I cannot share any confidence.
I understand the dictates of protocol, ma'am.
I'm afraid not, Lieutenant.
Hang on. She's a professional negotiator. She should be open to some sort of mutually beneficial arrangement.
Ну-ка.
Feelings will guide the way.
Ну, давай вот так просто сделаем. Будем считать, что этого момента не было. И это... И вот так вот сделаем еще, да?
You're back. Good. Quite a few. The information I'm to
Of course, and this...
Oh,
Awkwardness washed.
how can I forget? I was hoping your... I have sympathy.
I understand that...
I'm afraid...
Hang on. She's a professional
82.
negotiator. She should be open to some
Okay.
sort of mutually beneficial,
Давайте вот это спросим.
favors for favors. A dirty alliance of some sort. Consider this. Perhaps she has been planning it all along. Perhaps she even knew beforehand of your affliction. A sudden pinch of paranoia comes over you.
Увеличила проценты.
Easy. Just offer her a favor. Like I said, nice and dirty.
I will be frank with you. If I'm going to break protocol, I need to be able to justify...
You're in. But expect her to
Reports from inside Terminal B suggest it's a hub for the local drug trade. This is the company has tried looking into this matter before, to no avail. Perhaps... Or you can recover your badge. Though if I may be blunt with...
Detective, a word in private before we continue.
Ага. Давай.
This is not going quite as I hoped it would, Detective. Honestly, I was expecting you to use your unorthodox technique to keep her off balance, and not volunteer us to be her henchman. This woman is running circles around us. She might have known about your misplaced badge all along, or she's simply an adept in...
He doesn't let it show, but there is a limit to how much the consequences of your unprofessional behavior can cost the investigation.
No. If there is reasonable suspicion, we must investigate. Otherwise, what I propose is, we ask her, then we investigate, briefly. But do not share the outcome of this investigation with her. We tell her it's done and demand for her information on the lynching. I'm sure you will, Detective. Yes. Knowing this does not really change our... Oh, that would be fantastic, but do we have the time? The world is large.
The situation might have changed drastically by the time...
You could request a new one from the station, but that would literally take months.
Понятно. Так. Но мы жертвуем всего одной энциклопедии, конечно, да, и получаем 3 сразу навыка. Это, конечно, неплохо. Мне так не нравится. Ну ладно. Разблокировать. Ну давайте разблокируем. Ну-ка, это что? Давай королевство совести.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with? Why, yes I am. Of course there are. We're on an archipelago. How else are you supposed to get around? Yes, we are. We are on Le Caillou. I haven't seen anyone else drive a souped-up Capri Kenema motor car.
Actually, that motor carriage has been specially issued. It's for crossing long distances in a greater...
Neither is this. A toy, I mean. It's a machine for crossing long distances in the Bay of Revachol. Between the boat? No. It is called Cor de Leyte 19 because it's a pleasure craft. A 19 pacer. It also happens to be rated for Category 1 racing. My sloop? I like it a lot. It's...
I'm enjoying this part of the interview. It has so little to do with the motor.
Officer, I assure you I'm a highly...
The crowns of her teeth are porcelain, white as the boats are. Qualified pleasure craft operator. So charming.
I just renewed its safety inspection last month, officers. It is completely seaworthy. In fact, it's taken part in not 1, but 2 insulindic regattas. Even finished. The other time, I would have finished the race were it not for an urgent work matter.
Actually, you don't. The Wayfarer Act specifically denies the RCM the authority to demand anyone's operator license. It's a little-known fact among us law officials. Unless it's their passport. No. Do you want...
Of course.
The woman is silent, smiling while the waves lap against the hull. In your hand, under the plastic, a light blue pot. The woman, born in the year 3 in the commune of Rivershaw, smiles at you, face adorned with frown lines and crow's feet. The photo is recent. The name reads...
Yes. But please don't. Joyce is much...
She doesn't like it. Probably a bad memory. Mean girls at school or...
My husband is. I have dual citizenship. A Vespertine is handier when travelling.
She nods and returns the plastic bag to her coat.
Good. Everything. Right up to, but not including, trade secrets. First, you'd have to repeal the Emergencies Act of Trade in Aliments. That gives me the right to silence. It's quite the octopus. Why? By throwing off half a century of foreign domination under the coalition. Unfortunately for you.
You'd be shooting yourself in the foot, in other words.
But I am derailing us. You wanted to know about the strike. I believe the official title is Senior Labour Negotiator. In practice, I'm a grocery clerk.
And how are the talks going?
They're not. That's the problem. The union stopped all negotiation. Now they won't even let me into the harbour. There's a 2-meter-20 racist behemoth blocking the gates. Oh, so you've met him. Has he...
My colleague has his peculiarities.
Of course. To each their own. Let's say I was not making the kind of progress I'd hoped for when I first arrived.
And when did you...
I arrived 3 weeks ago. Yes, in the middle of February. The babe...
But the strike began in...
I wasn't the original negotiator here. I took over after Mr. Gaumont hit a wall with Mr. Clare, the union boss. Mr. Clare refused to speak with...
This isn't the first time the union...
Heavens, no. There have been 2 prior strikes. Both times the union won significant concessions, including overtime pay and a medical plan. This time their Mr. Clare told him to... How did he put... Fuck off, midget. Gaumont is short of stature, you see. Yes. Keep in mind, this is a negotiator Mr. Clare has worked with before, and who was more than fair with him. There are leaflets everywhere, and banned every worker, a
Most of the workers probably don't know what that means.
In its defense, another said, demand democracy. Pretty tame stuff compared to every worker a member of the board. Fortunately, they explained it. Every time the Wild Pines group makes a decision about, just so you understand, this is but one of 22 terminals owned by Wild Pines. Essentially, not only are they kings of the company, they are also kings of the 72,000 employees of Wild... They're having a blast. But how can they afford it? After 4 months, my assumption... I'm not sure. Naturally, I assume that was just their opening position. A hard-nosed tactic. And now, people are getting lynched, I hear.
Excuse me. From whom did you hear?
I first heard it from the bowyer at the gates. The one whose very name advertises his aversion to work.
This checks out.
The scabs? You mean the huddled masses of Jamrock, come to plead for work where if they were organised by Wild Pines or its affiliates, then it would be a company secret.
It's implied. She's open to discussing this matter with...
Everard Clare is a man of the utmost integrity. If you can say one thing about... Of course not. Everard is fantastically corrupt. I imagine he has a thick He is the most corrupt individual I have ever seen, and I deal with men like him for a living. If there is anyone more venal, more irredeemably nepotistic, then it's his twin. Have you seen him? Edgar looks exactly like his brother, except for that lazy eye. He also talks exactly like Everard does, and when it's how they circumvent the term limits, you see, with a funny little switcheroo. While in office, they've embezzled God knows how much of their workers' dues. The Debarders Union was once a perfectly normal institution. 20 years ago, anyway. It must not have been easy to establish under organized labor at its best, as they say. Then something happened in the local chapter elections. The brothers Clare came and transformed it into a... how do you say?
A mob. The Debarders are a crime syndicate. Sad as it may be, we are forced to...
Refreshingly honest, officer. The company has tried appeasing in the past, but I'm afraid... And your opinion, detective, if I may ask? I'm a curious and talkative person, you see. Would you say the Debarders Union is... Thank you for being candid. Sadly, Wild Pines have cooperated with what amounts to a crime syndicate for 2 decades. I'm glad you asked. There was a woman,
Disappeared?
Yes. On the last day of the local chapter elections, her daughter phoned in and said she wasn't running anymore. Or coming to what? Indeed. The company suspects foul play. But there's not... The point of the presentation is, these...
Thank you for your concern, ma'am. We'll be just fine.
Of course. How else can I help? You have?
Finally, time to choose sides.
Oh, come on now. He has his uses. How else? Corruption. That's how he's done it. Fantastic.
The position of my unusual colleague does not reflect official policy.
Of course. And I don't expect you to share anything he told you with me. I'm not a corrupt verm myself. How could I stop you? Are we not human?
Intellectually speaking, it would be quite... Tell her she'll like you for it.
Oh.
The lieutenant looks at you, and you can swear.
Unconventional police officers sometimes lose their guns. They then go around and tell people about this.
Incredible. Simply incredible. And how is it going? Did he now? Well, then it should be any day now. Unless, of course, he's... Of course,
Зачем меня
detective.
заставили рассказать?
Should something come up later? Until then, is there anything I can... More lessons in basic reality?
Концептуализация
Glad to
еще.
have been of assistance.
Так, подожди.
You're back. It's quite straightforward. Someone is using Terminal B to smuggle raw ingredients from the Samar and Isola into Revachol with the Union's blessing.
Ingredients for what, ma'am?
Meth and dextroamphetamine, GBL and various synthetic psychedelics. Honestly, it might be quicker to say what you can't make from... Yes. After they clear the terminal, we lose track.
Wild Pine seems to be well apprised of the local drug trade, ma'am. Do you mean to say the Union...
We're in logistics. It's our business to know. And no. As far as the company knows, the Union, yes, but you won't get anything out of Evrat and the Dock Workers Union. Still.
The handoff. The motor lorries at the roundabout.
Unlikely, officer. I'm talking about the lorries. Once
понял
the
я про
ingredients reach
грузовики.
Jam...
Может, опыт дадут, надо загрузиться, я думал. Попилить грузовики, типа. Ну, не попилить, а это...
You're back. Good.
А
It's
снести
quite
эту херню,
Ingredients.
короче.
meth and dextro... Yes,
Wild Pine...
we're in logistics. Yes, but you won't get...
The handoff.
Precisely. Someone
Нет,
needs
ну
to
ладно.
move the ingredients from the harbour into the city. Once they reach Jamrock, they're Perhaps you've noticed that a number of lorries are tangled in a traffic jam at the roundabout just now. Interview the driver...
Her irises are light green, like the river Esperance in Bright.
I'll be explicit. If you find this driver, I will share company secrets with you. We did. On more than one occasion. Apparently, there's some sort of
We know the company has launched its own probe into the Union's alleged involvement. We also know it's come up empty.
Well, here's your chance, officers. No. We asked East Motor Track to raise the drawbridge. The road company is a partner of one of our This is a limited time opportunity. Once the complaint has been processed thousands of litres of raw ingredients will pour onto the streets of Revachol. not the...
A cold breath rushes in from the bay, making its way down the alleyways and potholed streets. From Martinez to Jamrock.
A lot of it. It comes in from large Samaran factories in South Safre, Seaguy, and Sin...
Well, at least this solved
What is that, Luke?
why I had to call East Motor Tract and beg them to open a drawbridge for me. I'd wonder since
I am sorry for the inconvenience, Lieutenant Kisaragi, but we need them trapped here. This is a unique... How do you think they're financing this strike? There are thousands of unpaid dock workers
There was a shakedown of local businesses preceding the strike. Many were squeezed to...
With all due respect to these desert cacti, the contents of a few cash registers cannot provide for 2,000 men. The local... Precisely. Smuggled out of that very gate at night, most likely, then loaded onto lorries and driven to Jamrock. You simply need to find...
It sounds like she tried looking into it herself, though she's clearly not the type your typical lorryman would confide in.
The two...
Or not. Though, if you have evidence to the contrary...
As eager as I am to share it, Lieutenant, once the... Yes? Excellent. According to my reports, there are at least 3 lorry drivers lingering near the roundabout. It may come to nothing, or it may just blow the case wide open. I can keep the draw. In the meantime, let me know if there's any other way I may be of assistance.
Наконец-то. Побежали. Так, переоденемся обратно.
Hello again, officers.
А чего нового? Ну ладно. А, стоп, должник. Выходи.
This must be it. The basement door is weather-worn. The copper nails holding the upholstery in place have turned green from the royal lion, Guillaume's kitten. This knocker will last a lifetime and then some. The leather upholstery is worn and rough. In fact, it's oddly silent in the yard around you. You knock silently.
I guess no one is in? Let's be honest. This isn't what I joined the RCM for. But every day tells you. Apparently, working with the local union boss to get info on an investigation is not something I mind that the local thug is using the RCM for his busy work. But if, on the other hand, we could just leave and tell Evrat we opened the door. No one seems to be tailing us to see if we actually did it. Yes, presenting a fabrication is known to get results here and there.
The door is right here.
Не
You
получится,
can just
наверное,
open it
вскрыть
and be
это.
done with this. You try to be as silent as you can. It takes a bit of rattling of the handle. Finally, the door unlocks. The sound of the key turning still echoes in the yard. Good job. Let's go now. As you hold the open door, you can feel...
Мне туда войти-то нельзя? О. Так.
A row of mugs sits on the shelf. Each one depicts a human figure. A dark-skinned woman grinning a little ring. Though cheerful, the images on the ceramic the images betray a lack of interest in human beings. The owner of these mugs doesn't like people of other ethnicities very much. This person, the lieutenant, picks up one of them.
I'm beginning to feel better about breaking into this man's apartment.
Yes, your broken mug friend would feel very much...
There's the missing tin soldier. Whoever lives here might have used the Whirling's container, and now they've drawn the ire of the Union. The plot...
An interesting little clue. Let's see where this goes. Clues have a way. Perhaps you should break into apartments more often.
Who knows? I'm not expecting too much from this clothes in the trash lead either way. It might turn out to be some red.
You could ask Everard who this person is.
Так.
A row of mugs sits
Блондинистыми героями фэнтези с накачанными мускулами. Понятно. Плюс одна логика. Неплохо так. Но явно лучше нашей.
This is the flag of Revachol, the suzerainty. This isn't just one sun, but there are little suns dancing around the big sun. It's an optical atmospheric anomaly the first settlers saw. Happens in cold weather. 6 small suns around the big one. This complex halo phenomena is how old Revachol got.
The tenant is an old-fashioned guy.
The flag doesn't seem to mind. It's just a colorful fabric with a sun sewn onto it. Like
Так куда ты идешь? А, или это тут, ладно. Я думал, это тут где-то на полу, типа. Угу. Так. Ой, мысль.
the spread pattern of these bullet holes makes your chest ache. You're more old bullet holes. Half a century at least. From the revolution. You peer into the faded marks in the stone. They peer back like an endless row of tiny black holes. Your chest feels tight looking at them.
Прекрасно.
It's closing in, caving in, ever tighter.
Сердечный
okay
приступ.
Might be the after effects of your past escapades. What are you looking at? Remnants from the revolution. These are over half a century old. No, we are not constructors and renovators. And these bullet holes, not much. I don't have a fresh perspective.
Ладно. Так, а там туда нельзя пройти, да ведь? Ага. Вон там вот что-то еще. Пойдемте наверх. Зайдем туда. Я, кстати, деньги не отдал до 21. Ну, посмотрим, что будет. Балконе. Вышел на балконе. Ух ты ж, как много всего. Ну, может, успею. Но я не думаю, я весь этот дом обследовать буду очень долго. Понятно. О, я вернулся сюда. Обошел. Не забудешь. Так, стоп, а там что? Эту дверь как-то открыть можно, да?
Yes?
Ой, не ты. Но явно не сейчас. То есть одна логика минус авторитет. А у меня что за очки сейчас? Визуальный анализ добавляют. Так. Оп. Понятно.
A shabby door hangs oddly on its hinges, secured to the doorframe with a safety chain. An unpaid energy bill is attached, threatening to cut off the electricity. It's addressed, your heartbeat quickens, palms go sweaty. The siren of amphetamine is singing you her song.
And the place comes with 3 months' worth of utility bills.
No response. The apartment numbers have fallen off the door, leaving the panel with this good thing you already have the chain cutters in your hand. Nothing left to do now but
Okay,
snip,
chick.
snip, snip. The cutter goes through them like, don't let the quiet fool you.
I know there's no stopping you, but let's at least make this quick.
Понимаешь ли, у меня сейчас грубая сила опущена из-за мыслей. Я, лично говоря, не хочу сейчас к нему наведываться. Еще 13 часов. Поэтому мы запомнили, что он тут, и сейчас пока что не будем к нему заходить. Че, квартира пустая? Так, фонарик, может. Это ванна, понятно. Алкогольный напиток «Красный командор». Что за туфли жесткие? Ладно, думаю, можно его убрать. Я думал, там лишнее будет.
This door has been closed with a padlock. A chalk-drawn number, no reply. It's a solid lump of metal, but the shackle is deeply corroded. A solid pair of chain cutters would make short work of it. The lieutenant is concentrated on the hallway, scanning both ways for any...
Подожди, лейтенант.
This door has been closed with a padlock. What are you doing? You're trying to cut the body of the lock with the chain cutters. And it's really not...
Успокойся, все нормис будет. Не надо тут это мне умирать.
This door has been closed with a padlock. What are you doing?
Че так не везет-то, а?
This door has been closed with a padlock. What are you...
Так тяжко, что ли?
This door has been closed with a padlock. What are...
Да, боже мой.
This door has been closed with a padlock. What are...
Чё у тебя не выходит? Что у тебя не так? Может, навык прокачать? Техника, да? Вот техника. А я повысить не могу, у меня нет навыка.
This door has been closed with a padlock. What are...
Как же мне не везет? Не знаю, могу вот так сделать.
This
Я не
door
знаю,
has been
зачем, но
closed with a
надо.
padlock. The shackle
Получилось.
snaps like a twig, and the lock falls.
After you, detective.
Спасибо.
Master investigator, you just can't keep yourself away from locked and hidden places, can you? Nothing. You're right. Get in there. The Attaboy, the world's secrets were made for you. They were...
Понятно. Вдруг там кого-то убили, но надо исследовать. Мне никто не открывал, поэтому я сам взломал.
A plaster cast bust depicts a middle-aged man with impressive sideburns. Honestly, he does kind of look like you after all.
He was definitely controversial. The tenant here seems to like him. There aren't many communists around, not after the revolution. Some youth still keep the ideology going. The White Star, the photos on the wall. I think we have broken into the apartment of a young communard. How fitting. Hold on a second. Is this why you broke in here? To find out whether you're Krasnazov? Sure you are.
The lieutenant doesn't even bother to reply to this.
I suspect that's exactly what they are trying to do. There aren't many communists around, not after the revolution. Some
Понятно. Девятимиллиметровый патрон. Классно. Опа. Пиджак. Понятно, за место плаща. Ну это да. Я, кстати, обувь снял, да? Точно. Штанов у меня еще нет. Не найдено. А где 9-метровый патрон? А, один. Один патрон появился. О. Что я ищу-то? Этим... Ладно, зачем мне монтировка? Потому что все равно болторезом открываю их. Двери всякие. О, 3 реала.
You hear someone walking around inside, rearranging the furniture. The walking stops abruptly, but sounded like a woman. A poor communard from the looks of it. The room is barely bigger than a...
Do I have to open the door? Do you have a warrant?
Let's go. We don't have a reason to get it.
Later then. Entering this door, it's generally easier to do things if you have literally any reason. A poor communard.
Понятно. Давайте дверь за собой закроем тут. А то тут-то кто-то живет, наверное. Дверь заперта. Что тут у нас? Открытка еще одна. Ну вот и вход я нашел. Другой.
Give me a moment. The cold never does any good for my bronchitis. I'm fine. Fine. Don't you worry about me.
You're still worried. It's...
Now, what do you want?
She's the cleaning lady. She knows the floor plan and the residence.
I'm no one. Just an old... If you can call it living. I have a little... It's barely bigger than a closet. But I don't complain, no. I have my bed and my aching...
And all she gets, too. The coastal wind beats down hard on the cold room door outside. Splashes of waves make the balcony slippery.
Oh, you'll find plenty of Martins here. Don't you worry. Pea-brain. Someone played a trick on you. Martinez is a name for anyone who comes from Martin.
Oops. You really didn't get the...
I thought it was obvious. Anyway, officer, we don't have the witness's name.
Yes. I know who you mean. The scrawny boy who's...
Somewhere in the building, a child starts crying. You hear a radio tune.
What's he in trouble for? Talk? He lives upstairs in room 28. Go to the balcony. It's one of those doors there.
Thank you. We should go check out his apartment on the balcony. See if he's home.
The waiters are at the end of this hallway, right next to the communal. Ask away, policeman. People come and go.
They probably just moved or died, hopefully somewhere else.
No one lives there. It's been empty for months. Impossible. I would know if someone had moved in there. Maybe it's those countercultural people again. Breaking into a house like it's a public space. Great. Young people. They're worse than rats. You know, always littering the hallways with trinkets and empty bits. Oh, that one is a scientist. I think he studies astrology at the community college. Something to do with all those stars around his door. He asked me to leave his drawings up on the wall. The symbol of what and how? Huh. I thought Revachol was the capital. I don't want to talk about Deweeters. Addicts. All of them. They don't like me cleaning behind their door. Think I'm listening?
So she doesn't. Not after that one. It didn't get physical. She heard something.
We saw unpaid utility bill.
No one likes them in this building. It's only because of the kid. I don't like talking about those people. The artiste? Nothing I can do about her, I'm afraid. She leaves an old lady to her business. More than I can.
She mumbles some kind of a response. Kingdom of Conscience. The Kingdom of Conscience will be exactly as it is now. Moralists don't really have beliefs. Sometimes they stumble on one, like on a child's toy left on the carpet. The toy must be put away immediately, and the child reprimanded. Centrism isn't change, not even incremental change. It is control.
Понятно. Лимит улучшения повышается. Варианты моралистов в диалогах дают +1 к боевому духу. Нормально так. Правда, найти бы эти варианты моралиста еще, ага. Мертвыми петухами классно, да? Могу опять же прокачать навык. Так, это нам сюда, да? Сохранимся перед квартирой.
You hear someone walking around inside.
Excuse me?
Scare them. Suspected you have plenty of reason to enter.
Oh, come on.
That was smart.
Что? О, новые туфли. +1 к способам косвенного налога. Ну, видимо, они особо ничего не дают. Они классные.
The luxury of fine things. Just look at those black monk straps. After spending an entire day hustling, who's to say that beautiful things give you a rush? It's power. Remember, when they come to take it away from you, you worked for those shoes. Whether
Гипногамма. Не пойми, что я взял.
Satisfied? My name is Marielle Charpentier, and I'm an agent with Martinez Realty Associates. I am not breaking in as I have...
her voice is really cheerful, despite her obviously hate.
Do you want to see my ID as well? You can't legally ask for it, but why not? Want to see my residence permit too?
It feels flimsy in hand, with the words Revachol Zone of Control. written under a nondescript municipal logo. There's a picture.
Thank you. Do you have any questions? I need to be back in Midtown in an hour. I need to get it ready for the next lease, but as you can see, the previous tenant, it was some kind of a moribund old man who used to be a business owner. But that was months ago. Anyway, was there anything you wanted? It is! Everyone says the real estate agents don't do anything. So the sooner we get this over with, the better. Oh, that's another huge mess. The former tenant owes us 3 months of rent. 3. We closed the apartment, and again, I have no idea how stupid mistakes like this can even happen. But Ron, when he came to close the door...
So preppy. She's probably on some low-grade performance.
A hole in the wall. Can you believe it? And then the tenant ran off with his stuff. He's gone.
The sum must have been puny.
These apartments are perfectly fine. They have gorgeous architecture, a million-real view. I'll tell you, Martinez has a future. In a few years, it's going to blossom with artists and creatives and those... Well, it does not disappear from my hands. No, I don't let it. Don't ask me what happened with the wall. I have no idea. Both apartments are now unrentable. Both. Of course.
Еще уборщица скажет, что там никого нет, и она убежит.
Give me a moment. I see. I hope some good people are finally going to move in. This place needs them. Yes, well. I
7
hope
раз
they're good
вступиться
people.
за политический центр. Ладно.
Your statements are too vague to comment on.
Типа вот это кто-то пробил стену, да? Понятно. «16 дней холодного апреля». Понятно.
A shift in temperature. The air chills around you. Dust settled. A former architect stands before a slice of window. A room plan in her hand. A cold wave has made the air in the building. Faint pencil lines on paper depict the same place, but a missing eastern wall connects the room. It's clean and empty, with new tapestry embellishing the walls. She had an eye for beauty, is red from the cold. She's breathing on her fingers, clasping the plan.
Понятно. Так, ну пойдемте в эту дыру зайдем. Проход в туалет просто. Понятно. Так, все, здание обследовано. А, стоп, там я мусорку исследовал на балконе, я не помню. По-моему, да. Вот, это другой балкон, стоп, да. Ой.
Ruination has come. The broken arches betray the once grand history of this building. A great force from the northeast fired into the city. Heavy artillery shelled the coastline. The tenement acted as a defensive wall against the worst of the shelling, until it was destroyed. The waves of the Martinez Inlet rolled over the fallen. What didn't fall into the ocean was used as scrap. What wasn't, those arches acted as support for something. Only 3 stories stand where 9 to 12 once did. Restoration has failed. Underwater, iron helmets have sunk deep into the sand and the mud. Helmets of soldiers and their fingerbook, a fleet, the combined armies of Occident and Grad. With they massed airships further down in the Bay of Revachol. The artillery was so powerful. The ships not only many are still there to this day. If you squint, you can just barely see the shadow on the water.
The coalition. But that was a long time ago.
He does not like talking politics. He fears the discussion might lead to disagreements.
Ooh, the piggies have learned how to saunter up staircases. I didn't think you could do that with hooves. But here you are. Yeah, you got me now.
That smell coming from her paint bucket. It's not paint. It's heavy fuel.
Red-dyed heavy fuel oil, intended for exclusive use in government.
What did you think I was using? Aquarels? Sucked it out.
She really did it. She's proud of it too.
Something to think about next time you're driving around in your pretty little piggy carriage. Can't you? I haven't really started it yet. I'm waiting for the right word.
Я не могу ее попытаться...
Yeah?
Ну ладно.
Lying is cool, I guess.
Так, ну давай сюда сначала. Это на... Я думал, на второй этаж выход. Рабочие джинсы пугалем. Опять электрохимия это ваша. Зачем она мне? У меня и на этих штанах плюс электрохимия. О, что
The
новое.
pockets of these new jeans are perfect for sticking your hand into. Makes you look cool, calm. Hey, it's a chewing gum wrapper. It reminds you of the fruity juice of apricot. Not familiar in a...
Ладно. Снимай обратно. Опа, целых 5 реалов. Это она тут спит? Жалко ее. Или это... А, или это... Ну ладно, непонятно. Не, она рядом говорила. То есть это Синди тут живет. По всей видимости. Что за клетка? Так, на второй этаж. А нет, тут нет прохода на второй этаж. А чё, в смысле? А как?
That isn't just a five-pointed star. It's an inverted white pentagram cradled in a wreath of the star and antlers was developed in the 6th decade of the last. Even today, half a century after, the star and antlers retains the ability to evoke hope, disappointment, to symbolize the toppling of. Also, some social democrats were already using it. The wreath of antlers represents a natural crown. It was about building a society because white is the color of peace. You see noble aims, but also mountains upon mountains.
Понятно. Так, что там? Это все еще исследуется, еще 12 часов. А бессонница, это правда у меня бессонница? Я не могу спать? Интересно, вот мне стало. Может там на балконе что-то еще есть? Ага, вот он и вышел.
Gendarmerie, you found me.
His slender figure is backlit by city lights. It feels like a Friday. And his shirt is still unbuttoned.
Beautiful. So tell me, are you here to make things right again? Beautiful. I have some good news for you. My Sunday friend is visiting me tonight. I told him about you and he'd like to say hello. Step in. He's already waiting. Mm-hmm. That's why I chose this place.
Wait. Suddenly you are digging things?
It does feel like the end of the week. It's so magical. The white. Trust me. You do. That's nice, but I don't have anything to tell.
He takes another drag of his unfiltered cigarette. Downstairs, a cat crosses.
Besides, I've got to run. To the city. It's a beautiful night.
A man on high heels stumbles out of a basement club, music blasting over the entire district. It's chilly, and as the chemical, something flutters in the corner.
We'll talk. Just not tonight. Take care, alright?
And he's gone again. Looks like it's becoming a theme for him.
Different, of course.
Гей какой-то, я не знаю.
His shirt. His shirt. His shirt. No, I don't know why his shirt is always on, but come on, detective, let's go. We've got a potential...
Сам хожу без рубашки, да? Что за кимоно? Краш. Где мой это плащ? Ага, понятно.
Officers of the Revachol Citizens Militia. My name is Charles Vildrouin, and I am an official with the coalition government. I heard you talking to my friend outside. Very good.
Hanging? What a drag. He seems like a cultured gentleman. You should ask him about the finer things.
Of course. Let me just say it has been an emotional...
The lieutenant takes out his notebook and nods to you to proceed.
I'm sorry to say I did, officer. Officer, it's very difficult to describe what I saw that night.
What do you mean, like in a play?
It was just so strange. I was on the balcony when it happened, getting some fresh air. I remember that first they came in, carrying what looked like... that's when I understood.
Sounds like the victim was unconscious, or at least incapacitated. Interesting.
I couldn't see their faces well, and there were quite a few of them. But they... let's just say that the laboring classes can get rather... I couldn't tell you exactly. Less than 10.
The lieutenant sends you a sharp look at the mention of that number.
That's a giant you're describing. No, they were all quite human. I went back inside.
Yes, back inside.
Were you able to see anything?
Officer, the yard was pitch black. There was nothing to see, but I could still hear their voices. All men, I presume. But again, I couldn't see very clearly. I believe they were mostly white, though I believe I saw 2 Aeropagites among them. And I am quite... well, that's the strangest part, officer. Nothing happened. Eventually, their shouts died down, and that was all. There were no gunshots. You're right, of course. That is what one is supposed to do, and I'm afraid I don't have any...
About what time was...
All I can say is that it was late. No, I didn't see the corpse until the following day. I'm sorry I couldn't be of more assistance. The coalition is only looking out for the price stability. Inflation is a killer. The economy impacts the entire international community, which is why it requires international oversight. Well, I'm renovating it. It is an interesting project. The building used to be a 12-story skyscraper before the cannon. You could say I'm undoing some of the material damage. Yes, as I said before, I'm a commissioner from Sur-la-Clé working for the Institute of Price Stability. This is one of the main projects of the Moral. La Communauté Internationale is what Revacholians colloquially call the coalition. Your employer, technically speaking. The governing authority of Revachol. It is the most important thing. It's the central goal of any sound monetary policy. Maintaining the price stability is essential to maintaining high levels of economic activity, which is essential for maintaining...
Basically, it makes sure the price of...
Précisément. Too much inflation, bread becomes too expensive. Too much deflation. That's why the Institute of Price Stability works to keep inflation just below 2%. But not too far below, no. Too below is also bad. The coalition believes in the importance of informing the public about the benefits of the price stability. A sound monetary policy is essential for addressing uncertainty. But oh, I don't have my leaflets on me today. That's too bad. You can always call our information line. Making information available, it's the International Organization for Moralists. Hence, Moralist International. The Institute of Price Stability is just one of its many
There are more nefarious powers to work for than the moral intern.
But of course. Well, do you value freedom? Do you believe in a normal, stable world governed by democratic values?
Me? I'm a lieutenant of the RCM.
A very moralist answer. The Occident is part of the normal world. Oranje, Martinez? No. Revachol is generally difficult. But they are working towards it. You're all doing very well here, relatively speaking. Is this option D usually the most reasonable answer? Sounds like you're a moralist indeed, my friend. Moralism is all about compromise and achieving the achievable. It's pragmatic, realistic, and level-headed, an ideology for doers. Now, enough of this delightful political interlude. Was there anything else you wanted to ask? What's there to say? Sur-la-Clé is a modern, urbanized country that measures very high. Moreover, it is a great sponsor of less emerged countries. Revachol is only one of its many darlings whose progress it supports and cherishes. Because a great percentage of Revachol's culture hails from Sur-la-Clé. Its language, its people.
Jamrock and other parts of the international zone have been mercifully spared of Sur-la-Clé's love for meatballs and mashed potatoes.
Oranje is an exemplary nation who, as a core member of EPIS, contributes 28% of our annual budget. Next to Sur-la-Clé, as founding members, they are both very EPIS. Oranje carries a lot of political weight, while Sur-la-Clé takes care of the business. Oranje's economy is one of the most advanced in the world. It has successfully transitioned from heavy industry to advanced... About what? Oh, it's very urban and very well organized. Their streets are clean, their horse cars run on time. Whatever you wish, officer. Ah, my friend. My friend is a good young man. His family immigrated here from Kedra, and life has not been easy. Kedra is a candidate member of APIS. But, between you and me, that it's never going to happen. They entered negotiations in 21, and it's been pending ever since. EPIS is a very special program developed by the Moral Intern to support certain Occidental nations. It began as a unified system of weights and measures.
God, yes. Sweet standardizing.
It was such a wild success that we expanded it into an economic union for the processing of steel. Another success. And between you and me, a supranational political alliance. The Unite... You mean Revachol? No. It's one day going to be a candidate member of EPIS, sure. No. Candidate members do become members. Why do we even have the whole... But we were talking about my friend here, not politics. Kedra is a candidate member that it's never going to... It's warm. It's also known for its mandarin trees and dust storms from Kedra's an emerging market, but it still has a long way to go. Maybe that's why my friend's menage decided to emigrate. How did any of us become friends? Bad things happening on the Insulindian Isola? Oil platforms ablaze in the night? Civil wars au contraire. It's how millions of people end up where they are. Meeting the people they meet. It's how I... Sorry. Who? But I told you, officer. He's a bright young man here to pursue his education. Education is the foundation of our... Officer, you have to understand. I can't give you his personal information. He's deeply enmeshed in the study of the fine art. He's a truly free spirit. He likes all the arts. Perhaps graphic design? I'm just enjoying the view. Listen.
A baby is crying in the neighboring apartment.
No, listen. The Insulindian Bay. This place used to be a luxury accommodation before the revolution. But the million real view stays. You can't take that away. My friend comes and goes. I'm just enjoying the view.
A dead body with...
Listen.
Он, кстати, снят должен быть.
A baby is
Он уже не
crying.
болтается.
No, the insulin. My friend comes and goes. I'm just enjoying. We're old friends. Nothing's taboo. I'm sure you'll see him around. He's very... I'm all ears. A moment. Do you have everything you need from me? I'm afraid we won't have the chance to speak again once you leave. It's against diplomatic best practices for an official in my position to be discussing murders with local militiamen.
That's not the real reason he's so apprehensive. Men in his position shouldn't be seen loitering around in...
Of course. I'm glad.
Педофил какой-то, короче, ясно. Воскресный друг, боже мой. Труп, по идее, снят. Просто мы его не трогали все это время. Ага. Понятно. Так, куда я бежал-то? Я бежал к трупу. А это что? Это было? По-моему, не было.
You see a set of tire tracks in the brown slush that covers the plaza mosaic. Cop habit. This isn't case related. Hard to say. No, these tracks are not interesting at all.
Это из-за того, что я восприятие прокачал при помощи этого, да? Понятно.
You
Еще
see
раз.
a cop habit. This isn't hard to say. No.
Так, почему не выходит-то? Как так-то? Есть что-нибудь, что мне еще визуального анализа прибавить? По-моему, очки? Нет. Ладно, могу эти очки надеть.
You see a set of cop habit. This isn't hard to say. No.
Что? Оно
These
там
tracks
уменьшилось еще? Из этих очков?
You see a set of tire tracks in
Шанс
the
был
cockpit.
выше вроде
This
бы.
isn't hard to say. No. The
Ну-ка, переоденем обратно. Снимем их нахер просто.
You see a set of tire cop hat. This isn't hard to say. The tire tracks were
Ура.
left here by an unknown event that took place some days ago. It's a message
Поворот
written in
задний
the language
ход.
of burnt
А,
rubber.
начало движения. Удар. Поворот. Это он сделал?
Some of that rubber stuck to the tiles right in front of the whirling and then accelerated straight into the fence, left a hole big enough for the Frank. The driver proceeded to back out of the yard before heading south. Must have been in a hurry.
You are correct. This is a rather motor carrier. I'm not sure. There are plenty of traffic accidents waiting to happen in...
You could follow the track south. There seems to be a canal there. See...
Окей, посмотрим потом. Так, как жизнь? Надо подойти. Может, штаны у него
You
купить
missed a
все-таки?
good show before. He fucked the tree up.
By the way, Kit is a racial slur.
Stop choking, Kuno's not fucking choking. Like fuck you did. Kuno's gonna keep saying kipped forever now. Kipped. Shit. The fuck did you want anyway? You got your fuck bag down. Now let's talk normal shit. Shoot that shit at Kuno, Pigonaut. So? Yeah, so? Kuno did say— Kuno sent your fat ass— Look, pig. Kuno sent you to rough some people up. Kuno played you. That happened. Now you and Kuno should move on. What is this? Trying to be cool with your new asshole? Kuno was just being nice to you. After this shit, you better have something real—
Yeah, real interesting.
Ладно, давай я у
Here,
тебя
pig.
штаны эти
We're
куплю.
fun now. Performance buddies. Kuno could already see you soaring through the air like a fucking eagle. Pig's in Kuno's debt now. Money debt. Kuno doesn't fuck.
Купил дорогие штаны. А, ну да, у меня это добавляет визуальный анализ. Точно.
The
Забыл.
corpse lies on the ground among the remains of an absolutely demolished pinewood branch. It's gently laid on one side.
Mr. Measurehead has done a good job. Nothing is too broken or compromised. The victim is ready for... Yes. 1. Investigation of the scene. 2. Initial examination of the victim. 3. Field autopsy. 4. Transportation.
The fuck are they on about?
Cop's gonna cut his shit up.
No, you and I are detectives. The honorary rank of detective signifies our ability to handle the entire incident chain, from an honor and a burden attached to your rank once you've proven yourself able, usually after 5 to 8 years of field work. You are. Your station would not have...
The lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath.
Come on, officer. You know what a field autopsy is. You've done 100 of them. Unfortunately, no.
У меня перчатки так-то есть.
Unhygienically? Let's not go glove hunting, please. Let's use division of labor. I perform the anatomical side, while you take notes. That's right.
Shoot, Looney Rooney. Come
Главное,
back
на что?
later, Corporal. Amuse yourself with my frank manners.
Ну-ка, подожди. Ща. Думаю, он не
The rotting
одобрит,
man, the lieutenant
но
adjusts
попытаемся.
his glasses and takes a deep.
I thought we decided to leave it to processing.
Okay, so you can sneak out of your room maybe after he's gone asleep.
Ладно.
The dead man stares in silence as you crack open the ledger. The bright red paper is covered in boxes, and above those, an 11-field info form needs filling out first. It begins with,
That's you.
the corpse is indifferent to your scribblings. Just
KK57.
KK equals Kim Kitsuragi. 57 equals Precinct 57, followed by his date 0803 and time of arrival.
And what would that...
HDB 41. 0, let's say 1300. A good time to start drinking.
Good. Let's go with that.
Время,
The
пожалуй, это не
lieutenant
буду
is quite
записывать.
surprised you managed to come up with an adequate case number.
NA. Next. NA. Roughly 50.
Try 40. The damage is so extensive, it's better to err on the young. He nods.
Mondial.
The pudgy mess of curdled meat looks neither mondial nor anything other.
Fucky!
Male.
Pigs can have sex!
Nor does he look male, with his pregnant
We're still going with March 4th. 51. What else? 9. Body identified by is non-applicable.
HDB 41 0803 listens, motion.
None. At least not after the initial examination. They'd have to have incapacitated and carried him over. This man was more than a match for untrained dogwalkers. We should start the post-mortem.
The corpse cannot feel Kim's hand on his chest. It no longer meaningfully interacts with its surroundings. A thicket of
clothes. The deceased wears armored boots and white briefs. The make of the briefs is Babrodine, I think.
See? It's happening?
Babrodine, yes. Inexpensive.
The disappointment is palpable. The red-haired thing.
The rest of the clothes have been removed post-mortem by scavengers in order to get to the victim's ceramic armor. Officers are in search of the missing
It would be clever of you to omit the boots altogether, sire. If you are to keep them for yourself, as you ought to, you have deserved them more than anyone else.
Ну ладно, он записал, я тоже
The boot has a
запишу.
serial
Запишу и не
number.
буду их
It's
забирать все-таки.
E50.100.100. Tattoos. The upper torso is covered in a single continuous tattoo, resembling a national pattern. It reaches. The assistant has a color photograph of the markings, to be added to the case files as document A1. The deceased has a cargo lashing belt around his neck, tied with a hangman's knot. Color well-nourished, athletically built, measuring 1.8 meters. Generally consistent with age 42. Preservation is...
The spine is bent more than the lieutenant compensated for. This buster's actual height is about 1.85.
Of course, I undercompensated. Body hair is light brown. Distribution is consistent with the age. The deceased had male pattern baldness. Hair is combed back, short.
His hair feels wet, soaked with rain, cold to touch. Not that different from a living person after a swim. The stench is suffocating. Strands of dark brown hair start sticking to your hand.
Lividity is consistent with hanging.
Не будем его больше
The hand
гладить.
is congested. Contusions are present on the head, chest, and thighs, consistent with stones thrown post-mortem.
Fucking low velocity! You think Kuno doesn't know what you're talking about? Velocity talking shit about Kuno.
In addition, there are bite marks on the face, scalp, and chest, consistent with predation. Ligature mark. The steel wiring. There's too much of it. We need to remove the belt so we...
You got just the right tool for that. The chain cutters.
Always good to think ahead. Now, we need to cut the belt to see the ligature.
See, my pig is...
No, he ain't. Your pig's a boring fuck.
97.
You are? You're Kuno's pig?
Глупый спор, но это
The
ничего не
belt
изменило.
is equally tight around the whole circumference of his neck, swelling over the edges. After some deliberation, you sink the cutters into the knot tying the belt together. You squeeze the rubber handles together. Snap. The knot is slashed. Another cut and the belt falls apart like a flower bouquet.
The rope rises to a point, leaving a gap in the ligature mark. The suspension point is in the back of the neck.
As it ought to. This is where its grip on the curdled meat is gentle.
Hemorrhaging is observed on the skin, above and below the ligature mark. The mark is well pronounced. Chest is intact. Normal contour. Abdomen is protuberant. Pelvis intact.
No! I fucking knew it!
This is clearly what they've been waiting for, ever since the autopsy.
Genitalia is male and unremarkable. No evidence of injury.
The dead man's penis is average-sized, congested from the downward collection of blood. You should touch it.
Не надо.
Back is symmetrical and intact. Upper and lower extremities are intact, but asymmetrical. There are combat injuries on the right hand, thigh, and hip.
Bullets have bitten little pieces out of him. It must have been excruciating.
In addition, I see smaller, residual scars, too numerous to count.
From wounds sustained over 2, maybe more decades. Dispersal and accumulation.
Last item, hands. Hands are clean. No sign of a recent struggle. Maybe I'm just not seeing them. Honestly, ooh. That's all for the external. Well done. What next?
Ой, это только первый пункт был еще. Ну давай, второй.
Central nervous system. I have nothing. Do you have anything on this man's central nervous system?
Of course, there is a moral to be drawn from it. A moral to this story.
What would that be?
The dead man looks, too, with barely contained excitement to hear the moral of his story.
I think that may well be the moral of every story, officer. Good. Musculoskeletal. Purge fluid is coming from the mouth. Not injury related. Eyes and tongue protuberant. High.
With his eyes almost closed, the lieutenant puts his hand on the dead man's throat and begins to massage. You hear cracks as the lieutenant moves his sharp fingers inside.
Yeah, jack that!
The hyoid bone is fractured. The rest of the musculoskeletal system is intact. Unremarkable. Respiratory system.
He's really doing it. The dead man's teeth cut.
Oral cavity shows no